At least they know.
Okay, this is all right.
Yeah, we've got things that are happening. He's gonna address whatever he has.
A minimum,
We don't have it that format like that.
sometimes more. It's not like
Hey, Sam. Sam. Do you want to read this whenever Yeah, let's do it. And when you can do it after Travis finishes, so we can address this two issues. I'll just hand that to you, and I'll just give it back to you. Just give it to you. Yeah. We appreciate it.
what, like stuff. I mean, but you know, I don't work with them. I get back to check every year. They can check, they can do me. Yes. Yeah, it's just got the way. Every year. Fill out all these things. All right.
Well, actually, we're not. We're gonna do the first reading and then the second. This will be the first reading. Nate, how are you gonna hold it to? How was Nate? No, we're just gonna go by the agenda. So, there he is. We're one to see. Rock.
I got one shot over my
Can y'all do a mic check real quick?
Testing.
Hello. Testing.
Test.
We need booster seats. We're sitting too
Yeah.
low. We might be here. Maybe we need to grow up, that's it.
I think we did that. Here. Okay, it's now 6 o'clock and we'll call the Monteagle City Council meeting to order on March the 29th, 2020. We'll start with roll call. Nate Wilson,
Here.
Jessica Bavallaro. Here. Alvin Powell.
Here.
Doreen Farmley. Here. Marilyn Rodman. Here. Everyone's present. All right, let's start out with a prayer. Jessica, would everyone please stand? Would you please lead us in prayer?
Heavenly Father, we're grateful for all the blessings that you've given us, this great town, all of our friends. We ask that you keep us cognizant of your son at this Easter time and help us to work, all of us, to be friends, good citizens, and make the best of all the things that you've given us. And we pray it in your son Jesus' name. Amen.
Joy, will you lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The first thing on the agenda would be the approval of minutes for February the 22nd, 2021, and our special meeting March the 15th, 2021.
I make a motion to approve minutes.
Both?
I'll second.
Okay.
Any discussion? All right. All in favor? Opposed? That's good. Okay, do we have a reports? Jack?
Mayor, Council. The monthly report for the Monteagle Police Department, we have had 7 theft larcenies, 1 aggravated assault, 1 domestic assault, 1 drug related. We have had 12 accidents. These have been minor, and there have been 21 citations issued. The total fines is $1,681.
Okay, does anyone have any questions?
No.
Thanks, Jack. Okay. Fire department, is Garen or anyone from the fire department here tonight? Okay, he's not here tonight. We did meet with, Mayor Brady and Mayor Jackson today, and we'll be looking at the budget when we have a budget meeting concerning mutual aid, whenever we go outside of the city limits. The other thing, Mayor Brady did bring a check for $7,500 to give to the fire department today on part of a grant that he brought today. 911, Heather?
Nothing to report.
Okay, Heather's here with 911. Do you have any questions, right? Okay. All right. We do have an upcoming, Doreen, you can probably report on this, on the Parks and Rec that we're working on our Easter hunt that's scheduled for Saturday.
Yeah, we had to postpone the Easter egg hunt from this past Saturday. It'll be this coming Saturday at 12 o'clock. They've got 5,000 eggs and all kinds of prizes, but it'll be out here at Hannah Pickett Park.
Evan, do you want to report on the ball?
All I can know that it has started, the season kind of started. They've had very minimal games. I think in next month, which is what, 2 days away, they're gonna have a little more aggressive schedule. We're getting our clock worked on and fixed that lightning had struck and burned out a board, but it's getting repaired and everything else is going pretty smooth. I'm not sure of the dollar amount. We've got several donations from different individuals, but I don't have the list, so I'm not gonna try to start calling names.
I think you said it was what, $4,100? And UPP did donate $1,000. They brought that this afternoon, wasn't it? And then there was $3,100 donated with coffee besides that, and there's several hundred expected to come in from signage. So, and other donations that are coming in. So it's sort of offsetting itself as far as the funding. I think, Nate, didn't y'all get your seats ordered for the small team?
We did. We
So
did.
I think everybody's geared up and ready to go now. Okay. All right, utility manager, John. Does anyone have anything for John?
I don't.
Do you wanna go ahead, I know Butler's not here, he's out of town. Is he not planning on bringing a road list? He's meeting with Johnny Ray in Marion County.
Yeah, as far as I know, he's gonna meet with them, try to get a road list on it, and, he has had the men clean out ditches and stuff. They've cleaned out some, beat rock out Lower Lake. I know they have done some of that, and we did get our new backhoe in about the middle of the month.
And you say we're also planning on doing an auction on the, surplus
Yeah,
equipment?
we can get it set up maybe in April.
Yeah.
Last of April or something, 'cause we got several vehicles we need to get rid of.
And another thing we planned on was Sparkle Week, whenever there's
Yeah, I
restrictions.
think y'all set the date on that, didn't you?
And it was the
David?
second week in May.
Yeah.
And there's some volunteers that we've talked to that wanna come and help work on crafts, like at Harton Park. And I think Butler was gonna get with the guys to see what all needed happen there at Harton Park with the, gazebo, where it needs some repairs.
Right.
So you were contacting those folks, weren't you? So if we can get some work days scheduled with community too.
Okay, and just let everybody know the 11th of this month, we had our water plant inspection, and there was not no violations, everything's good.
And then you're gonna get, well, Travis is here too, but you're getting the, cost for the tanks to be repaired,
Yeah.
correct?
Working on it.
Anything else? Thanks, John.
Thank you.
Okay, so that takes care. Earl?
Yes.
Okay, there you go, sir.
Here.
You're here, all right.
I've got a laundry list of things here, hopefully won't keep everybody too long. I guess the first thing we probably need to do is, the business permits part. I think Deborah's got those, I've turned them all into her. I don't know who is here and who isn't, but, we need to go through them one by one, make sure everybody understands what's happening.
Chastain Family Chiropractor, is that?
Yes,
Oh,
Mr. Chastain is going to set up one day a week in Dr. Trussler's place down there in one room. I went down there today and went through it. All the life safety issues are addressed, emergency lighting, exit signs, fire extinguishers, all that's good, so I don't see any issue not to issue a permit. And if he's here, he probably.
but I think Joy's here for him, aren't you, Joy? Yeah.
My name is Joey Favalora. I live in Monteagle, and I have been going to Chastain Family Chiropractic for 5 or 6 years. Doc is out of town, he's out of state, so he asked me if I come and present this to you. I'll read through it and don't miss anything. Chastain Family Chiropractic has served the Sequatchie Valley and surrounding counties for the past 21 years. It was started by Dr. Jason Chastain and his late wife, Dr. Patricia Chastain, who lost her life battling breast cancer in 2008. Their dream was to serve their community through their passion for chiropractic care and give the Lord honor and glory for every good and positive miracle which happened as a result of their treatments. Chastain Chiropractic is a family practice that specializes in overall health and wellness by utilizing a wide variety of natural healing therapies consisting of spinal adjustments, extremity adjustments, dry needling, electric muscle stimulation, lumbar and cervical decompression, and nutrition counseling. We treat patients in ages from newborn babies to senior citizens with a wide variety of techniques, including activator and SOT. SOT is a soft adjustment of the skull when needed, especially with the infants. For patients who need a light force all the way from hands on spinal adjustments, Dr. Chastain has multiple certifications and treatments for pediatrics, expectant mothers, and certified in all athletic injuries. Also specializes in the treatment of neck and back pain, disc herniations, scoliosis, auto accidents, sports injuries, workers' comp, carpal tunnel, and many other symptoms. Primary offices are located in Kimball at 1511 Main Street. Office hours are Monday through Thursday, 7:45 to 5 p.m. Now, what he'd like to do is have on Fridays, be here in Monteagle to serve all the patients that he has here, and that would be what you described in Dr. Tressler's office from 8 to 5. All the appointments can be made, he said, at 423-942-2222. Okay, and he wanted me to thank you for the opportunity to serve a wonderful community of Monteagle, and he says he's looking forward to meeting the mayor and the rest of the council.
All right, here's Cheston, you know the location?
Yeah.
We have a,
And just make sure, I had made the assumption it was in the old chiropractic building, but this is actually Dr. Trussler's office, the old winery, right? Okay.
yes. So,
I'll make a motion.
all right, do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Nay? All ayes. Okay, then the next one is big marketing. And this is Aaron Welch. And this is a web marketing online internet. And that is it's at 16 Laurel Lake Drive. They do printing, graphics, design, and it's right there in the building where the candle shop lives. I think it's like, is it Oaks and Oliver's?
Yes.
So they're gonna be doing multiple businesses in there. So do we have, anyone from, is Aaron here? Okay. So did he know to be here?
Well, typically, ladies and gentlemen, y'all don't vote anything unless somebody's here to represent the company.
Yeah, well, then we'll have to put that one aside.
And let me clear something up while everybody's here handy, as far as multiple businesses being under the same roof. Building code wise, if you have, let's back up just a minute. We have 2 or 3 places in Monteagle now that we got people coming in, there'll be multiple businesses under the same roof. I have checked the ordinances, I have Garrett to go through them. Garrett Hayes was at the Southeast Economic Development District. There's nothing in the ordinances that prevent 2 businesses to be open under the same roof. However, building code wise, it depends on the occupancy of the 2. Now, if you've got one that's considered a high hazard type area that uses flames or heat or something to produce a product, that has to be separated by a 1-hour rated wall between the 2. If there's not, if the occupancies are more or less the same and both of the same hazard or no hazard, building codes doesn't say it has to be separated in between behind another wall. So as long as we understand that, there's been some questions about that. Anyway.
So I guess we'll have to have him come back at the next meeting since he's not here today. What about the 0-2 therapy? Is there someone here for that?
I went down there today, and this is in Dean Lay's building down there where they sell headstones. And he's got a little area that has been marked off, and they got some kind of I don't know what it is, it looks like a suntan bed or something, but it's entirely enclosed. And it's some kind of deal, I mean, I have no idea. I talked to the gentleman today that's doing that.
Right there he is, I think. Sir, is this your business?
I think he's talking about my business,
Okay,
hyperbaric
yes,
oxygen.
yes,
Okay.
okay. So do you want to tell us a little bit about your business and then we can look at approving your license here, sir, or your permit?
Well, this was developed by deep sea divers and so forth. They'd get the bins and they would have to go into a hyperbaric oxygen chamber. And basically what that does is it gets the oxygen into the blood vessels and into the body. And some of you may remember there was a football player that got messed up quite badly, and he got this treatment and he played in the finals in 3 weeks' time. And that's because he did the hyperbaric oxygen chamber and healed up much quicker. So that's basically what it is in a nutshell.
And it's there at College Street in a portion of Dean's current building.
What?
It's College Street, 50 College Street. It's,
Yeah.
you're gonna be sharing the building with Mr. Lay or Jackie Lay.
Yeah.
Y'all gonna be sharing that building there. So do we have a motion to approve 0-2 therapy?
I'll move that we approve this business.
Okay, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. James? Ayes. The other one we'll just have to put up till they come to the next meeting.
Okay, I received a call 3 or 4 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago, from a gentleman with a alarm and sprinkler company, and he was told to call me by the fire marshal, because he was doing work at the post office. He was working on their alarm system. And he asked me if we wanted to go on to the monitoring, since that building belongs to the town of Monteagle. It's our jurisdiction to determine if we want to have fire monitoring on it. And everybody knows what that is. That means there's somebody down there's an alarm goes off, and then somebody's got to monitor that phone call. It's just like an alarm system at your house. You know, you pay a monthly fee for it to be monitored. And I called the mayor and talked with her about it, and she and I mean, of course she had the final say, but we determined that since we never had to have it passed, and this is, I don't know how many years it's been built, so, you know, we couldn't see why we should go start paying somebody to monitor that. All we're gonna do is be monitoring the fire side of it, and the federal government monitors the worker side of it. So I told him that we weren't interested in the monitoring. And she wanted me to bring that up tonight. Council know what we had done, so everybody be on the same page.
Do y'all have any changes in that? I mean, it was just an added cost that we didn't feel like was necessary and never found.
Okay. Troy Rollins, we've been dealing with this now since January. And there was a letter that was created, which Nate, thank you, made, devised, worded, and somewhere, somehow, that letter Troy had never got it, and I don't think, of course, Mr. Attorney's been involved too, and somewhere the ball got dropped, I guess, and I thought somebody else had already given it to him or something, but that hasn't happened that I know of.
Yeah, I thought the same thing.
Yeah, somewhere along the line. I was up there today, the stop work order is still in effect, and I couldn't see that anything else has been done. So we're, right now, I just need to, and I'll be glad to call him and try to work it out with him as long as everybody's happy with the wording of that particular document.
Yeah.
So if that's okay, I'll take it from here.
And just for the record, I mean, the document states that he's not to, you know, it's a legal use in certain ways and it's an illegal use in certain ways, and he's not to inhabit it as a residence.
Well, it appears, being up there, he's brought some dirt in, which was done, hadn't been done since I stopped working. He got a big area over here where he's brought some fill dirt in, made a little mound there, and there's a meter base there on the pole, but no meter, of course. But I presume that what his ideas are, that he was gonna build an outbuilding first, and then build his house. But Monteagle's zoning regs don't permit that. You've got to have a primary structure before you can have an accessory structure. Anyway, I'll deal with that. Elisa Masters, right across the road down from him, and just a little bit, it's a single wide manufactured home. Actually, I stopped work on that the same day I did Troy's. And I've talked with her several times, and she'd always told me that they're trying to get it out, waiting for it to dry up, gonna get it out. This has been going 3 months now. So today, I talked to the police chief, and he's gonna go ahead and cite her to Monteagle Court for a zoning violation. So I don't know what else to do after 3 months, you know, really. We did the best we could do.
You need to keep a record of when she first put it in there, because that adds up. It's a $50 a day violation.
Okay. Well, I really don't know. I know the first time I saw it, that was back in, like around January 2021.
That'll work.
Yeah.
It was quick, the neighbor had called me as soon as it went into place.
I'm sorry?
The neighbor called me as soon as it went into place, so
All right.
we turned it over to you.
You probably have a little better idea when it went in. We have a request for BZA from Frank Maxwell. The property is between here and Swanee on the left down there. It's all that commercial, all that over on the left side is commercial. But this was a house that's he was probably grandfathered in. It's what they call a non-conforming use. Okay. He asked me about he was gonna add on to it. And I told him non-conforming uses cannot be changed unless it's something having to do with maintenance, like a new roof or paint on the outside. The footprint can't be altered. Well, he applied for a permit, and I think he talked with Garrett, and I told him that he'd get with Garrett, possibly the Board of Zoning Appeals can give him a variance for it, maybe, you know, something possible. Anyway, he applied for a permit. I denied his permit based on property as a non-conforming use, blah, blah, blah. And he spelled out the paperwork for the Board of Zoning Appeals. And I'm not sure that we have a BZA yet, but.
We need to talk to several others too, use it for BZA board.
You can either have your planning commission double up as the Board of Zoning Appeals, or you can create a new one. And we'll do an ordinance that does that. I'm not sure that's a proper variance anyway.
I don't think it, I mean, I don't think it will, but, you know, I let him talk to Garrett. I don't know if Garrett told him that or not, but typically under these situations, that's not a variance type thing.
It's not a variance thing.
But anyway, just, you're aware, and that's what I want to make you aware.
Is that one of the houses past the, museum, past the G?
Yeah, I've got, the address is 1164 Main Street.
It was, at one time, I think it was Bobby Wiggins used to own the house down there.
Okay, is that one next to Bobby Wiggins?
I think it's in there, that one, yeah.
The one that sits back in the
Yeah.
woods, okay.
Yeah.
So, y'all can deal with that.
So the next place down is mixed use. How did that happen?
I'm talking about the pottery place, right?
Yeah.
Well,
And then, well, I'm just thinking what's on that street. You've got a residence, and then you've got a residence and a pottery place, and then you've got a business, and then you got two businesses, and then it's more residences. I'm just wondering, it's a planning commission issue. Maybe there's some rezoning that allows that to be some transitional space rather than straight up commercial, but that's not for tonight. It's just an idea. I'll stop talking.
Okay. And I'm not sure the name of this place. It's in the country mart down there, and it's Sarah Ambrose is the little lady that's on the road. We've been going back and forth about, she wants to sell liquor by the drink. And what it really means is she wants wine. She's gonna say she wasn't selling anything but wine. She's not selling any beer. Okay. The ordinances that you have adopted, one of those is the beer ordinance. And it plainly says that you cannot have any beer sales within 300 feet of the property line of any church, public gathering place, or those type things. Ball fields and all that. But the other ordinance, which is the consumption on site of alcoholic beverages, and it names off liquor, wine, vodka, gin, blah, 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 does not give a distance. So, of course, she wants to sell wine, and I measured it up, it's 204 feet from her door to the church property line. But in consultation with the attorney and everybody else that I've talked to, they tell me that it's up to the local jurisdiction to establish that distance if they want it. So, long story short, can't drink beer within 300 feet. You can drink wine, you can drink liquor, you know, there's no distance. So,
Now, if they wanna sell beer along with the wine and liquor, then you can restrict it.
yeah.
That's just not selling.
So, just so everybody knows, what's happening, so I've communicated with her. She should be ready for a final inspection, and her business permit application will be filled out, one day this week, hopefully. That's what her intentions are.
And just to be clear, you're saying she is now operating within the law once you
Once
satisfy
she
to
opens her
sell
place
wine.
up, she can sell wine, liquor, vodka, gin, whatever she wants to do. But right now, she says, I'm just gonna be selling wine. Okay.
She does need a permit
She does need a permit, a business permit.
and an alcohol permit.
Well, okay, maybe, I'll tell her that. We'll see. All righty. We've had an issue with, property on Payne Avenue, which is a double-wide manufactured home. And over the years, it's been used as a residence. And, it just came up when we were digging around, seeing what was has passed for zoning regs and what hadn't passed and what had been done. So Miss Reed is the owner of that, and she and I have been communicating. And, last communication I had with her, she has decided to leave it there, but it's gonna be a business in it. a bit instead of a residential. And I don't see anything wrong with that. Insurance company, she said she had inquiries about insurance people want to come in there and things like that. So we're still working on that, but that's where we are right now. Sometime in the future, we need to get some rezoning signs. Every time we rezone property, we have to put the signs up, of course, which is regulated and must be done. So get with y'all, tell me to go find somebody to make some, I'll be glad to do that. But these are we're gonna have to do. I borrowed some for the use that we're doing now from another
I wonder
jurisdiction.
where this is. Okay.
And had to do a little manufacturing on the names and all that at the bottom, but anyway, keep that in mind. If you want me to do it, I'll be glad to, but we need to get those.
Well, you got those, did you Kimball? Is
Yeah,
that what you got from Kimball?
Yeah, we
So
all
you
plan
could just
Kimball.
order us some that are Monteagle, like you say, we're gonna have to have them.
Yeah.
So, I just.
I would think maybe get 25, and they ought to last 25 years, or something, who knows, but I would think,
Yeah, I might go ahead and get them.
Yeah, just go ahead and order them.
Okay,
Yeah, because you know what we need?
Yeah.
So.
I'll take care of
Just
it.
go ahead and get them.
Last thing, we are currently enforcing the 2012 International Building Codes, straight through. The state requires us to be within 7 years of the latest code that's out. So when the 21s came out, puts us kind of at a deficit a couple of years. So we won't do it tonight, but I'm gonna bring you an ordinance. Hopefully, my intentions are to see if we can't just go ahead and upgrade the 2018s, because that's what the state's on now. And that way we'll be on the same as the state, everybody be on the same. So I'm gonna be bringing you something to look at, not tonight, but maybe the next meeting or the one after, an ordinance where we can upgrade to the 2018.
What does Marion County enforce, or was it?
15.
15?
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, 12 Jasper, the 15s, Kimball still the 12s.
Everybody needs to update.
That's what I'm gonna try to do.
If I remember correctly, during the last council, you brought this up, and a bone of contention was the recommended pricing for building permits. Is that right? Am I remembering it correctly?
That's a total separate issue.
Okay.
Yeah, that's totally separate. Yeah, y'all's permit fees, I don't know if y'all know this, now your permit fees are based on the standard building code, which went out in 91, or maybe, no, 99. So, and every code you adopt, in the appendix of it, it has a permit fee schedule. And I proposed to tell them I go to even the 2012s. The council terminated, they thought that was too hard on everybody.
Are there issues with us moving up to the 2017 building code that you?
There's not a 17.
18, sorry.
Yeah, every 3 years. Is there an issue?
Do you see concerns with what's in that new code, that things that we need to be aware of?
Not really. I mean, I have to keep my certification up. I gotta get 36 hours every 3 years. And I've been going to some 2018 classes, actually. Matter of fact, the last one I was up in Pigeon Forge, it was a whole 4 hours of class on going to 2018. But I'm happy with it. I mean, and it keeps us in. I just like to stay abreast of what the state does, and that way there's never any issues, And I got friends up there, and we work together, and I'd rather be on the same they are. That's all I have. Unless somebody has something.
Does anyone have anything for us?
I would just say one thing, and it's only related to storm shelter requirements of the 2015 building code, I believe, requires any new additions to schools, critical facilities such as 911 centers, police stations, fire stations, to have storm shelter to shelter the occupancy of those facilities. That's the only thing I know that's really affecting our area.
Thank
you. All right, so now we're gonna move over to old business. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna do the ordinance 05-21 RBT. I'm gonna read the caption of this. Before we do though, I would like for Travis, you're here, you did a flow study with the INI. Will you report on that, please? And then, Sam, I think you have a letter from TDOT there as well. So if you all will do your reports, please.
Okay, we began a flow monitoring study back in mid-February, and so it's a 60-day study. We are only halfway through that, but at a previous meeting, we discussed having some preliminary information available at this meeting tonight, just for information purposes. So I caveat the information with regard to we still have 50% of the study remaining. The full report will come out after that, but I feel pretty comfortable with the numbers and the information that I have thus far being halfway through. So just to summarize, we installed 5 flow meters in the sewer system at places around town, 3 of those being around the central pump station off South Central Avenue. We installed 1 flow meter at the old treatment plant. That would be the total system point, and we installed another flow meter just northwest or northeast of town that meters the flow coming from Tracy City. So we have about 95% of the system covered with those meters. The other portions of the system are on grinder pumps and can't be metered easily with equipment. So and that flow is negligible to what we're doing, in my opinion. So just to give you some information on what we're doing, we also had some drawdown testing at 2 of the pump stations to verify capacity based on what the manufacturer says those pumps should pump, also in what they pump currently. One of those testing drawdown tests was performed at the central station, the other was performed at the main station down at the old treatment plant. To give some background on the rainfall, because that's important in analyzing the wet weather flows. We have had significant rainfall here currently, which we don't have that data available because in preparation for this meeting I had to stop the data portion last week. So we don't have the information on the rainfall that just occurred here in the last day or 2. But back at the end of February, there was a 4-day stretch where there was about 2.5 inches of rain over a 4-day period, which for a temporary flow monitoring study is a good rain event. So what we do is we analyze the dry weather and what that dry weather should be typically, which is wastewater production, no inflow or infiltration that would come into the sanitary sewer due to rainfall. So I'll start at the central pump station, which the property in question flows into that. There are 3 legs to that station. We have a meter on each leg, so we can determine what flows are coming into each leg of that central pump station. Site 148, which is numbered for the manholes based on some historical maps that Monteagle has that we utilized, has an average dry day flow of approximately 45,000 gallons a day. The pump station we saw had approximately 64,000 gallons a day. So from that leg, it's almost 70% of the flow comes from the area from the ball fields over to that pump station. Capacity wise, on daily dry day flow, which absent of any kind of rain, in this time of year, obviously everyone should know that it's going to be a lot drier in August, September, October than it is now. But when I say dry weather, we've had 30 days of data, so I picked some dry days that had limited rainfall or influence of rainfall. So during those days, about 45,000 gallons from that area, which is about 27% of the pipe capacity. On the 4-day peak flow, during that 2.5 inch rain or so, flows got up to about 278,000 gallons. So that's a 6-to-1 peaking factor. So there's obviously some I&I in that area. However, that is only 53% of the capacity of that pipe. So although there is some inflow and infiltration that we see in that area, the capacity of that pipe is able to carry the flow. As far as system-wide, the main station at the old plant, we looked at the pump station there as well, and the meter in manhole number 1, which is near the influent of the wastewater treatment plant. We saw an average daily flow of about 155,000 gallons a day. During the rain event, same rain event that we were comparing that to at the central pump station, flows got up to just over 1 million. So again, it's 7 to 1 peak. Most of that flow, the I&I system-wide, if I was to rank the basins or of the 5 meters, most of the I&I, or a little over half, is coming from the north side of Main Street. So all from Main Street north is where the predominant amount of inflow and infiltration is coming into the system. So out of the 1 million gallons, about half of that is coming in north of Main Street. We have some flow oscillations where we went in and tried to determine specific segments where those leaks may be entering, and I have not had a chance to go through that specifically in time for this meeting, but we'll certainly have those results available in the final report. So as far as capacity goes, the central pump station has sufficient capacity. The main pump station has during wet weather, we are at about 90% capacity during wet weather and about 46% capacity during dry weather. So there's some issues that we're looking at the main pump station with the pumps, gathering some more information from the vendors. So in summary, that's what we've found so far in the first 30 days.
Can you identify the north area, John? Where's that, as far as Tracy City and the Assembly, where's those coming from? So you're saying
North Central.
So that's where we're getting the majority of the I&I from.
It'd be from the manhole 1, which is right at the old treatment plant, back east. There's a main trunk line that comes through the I guess assembly area, and because that is deemed as private sewer, we don't have access to any maps within that area. But we do have the meter at the plant, which monitors all the flow coming into that. And then we subtract to get the net of that area. Then I subtract the total at meter 1 from all the other 4 meters to get the net of the area. And so any areas that are not dependent, then we subtract all upstream sites to get the net flow. That's how that's determined. Just a short summary of that.
Point of information, if I may, which is one question only. Is this report done for the city or to be filed with the state as part of the truck stop study, since we're discussing the truck stop?
This is a report, the town of Monteagle hired us to do an analysis of their sanitary sewer system, which includes all portions of the sewer system.
But does it go to the state as well?
I don't have a contract with the state, so
we don't file it with the state is my point.
No, there's no reason to file it with the state.
Thank you.
This is regular due diligence that should happen on a periodic basis for the town of Monteagle, and it had not been done in some time. And so in thinking about what the impacts of RVT's development might be, we decided we needed to get that process rolling so that we had information to work with.
Thank you.
And there's also tiny homes supposed to be hooked up to the system and other things that we've got to make sure which will come from that north side, correct? It won't be coming from the south side. But we do have some issues there that are going to have to be addressed immediately. So.
That's correct. This is a standard procedure for a city, municipality, government to evaluate capacity of their sewer system as a whole and in part. And like they said, it's not been done in a number of years, and so it's a prudent thing to do, to just a snapshot in time to evaluate capacity. So it's really the first step in trying to really find out what's going on with your sewer system.
Thank you.
Well, the question was asked to us too, to do due diligence to see if we did pursue anything, what would happen, and you have some results there on where we have problem areas and areas to fix.
Yes.
So.
And we'll have those summarized in the final report. That more detail will be brought out.
Can I ask a question about, so the rainfall, the amount of rainfall that you were measuring for your report was based on 2.5 inches, is that?
It's about 2 inches, 2.5 inches over a 4-day period. So that's just enough to give us a response to see how the flows interact in the sewer system.
What difference would it make if you had 6.5 inches over 2 days?
That's a tremendous an event. TDEC and the EPA requires you to design for a particular storm. They don't require you to design for extravagant events like a 100-year, 1,000-year flood. So any municipality would not be able to handle 13 inches in a day or two.
So this last event that we had that taxed Nashville so much, how would an event like that tax this particular system?
I'll be able to tell you that exactly in probably about 45 days. Okay. Once we get the data in and the report done.
But so. It would be, I mean, we are getting incredible deluges and downpours of, some significance that are very different from past averages, would you say?
I can't speculate on rainfall other than I know that if you fill a 5-gallon bucket full of water and once 5 gallons of water is in there, you're not going to get any more than 5 gallons. So the system at some point will take as much as it's going to take, and after that, you're probably not going to, it's going to flatline, and so.
And then what happens?
No more will fit in. And really the rainwater shouldn't be in the sewer system anyway, which is the whole point of this study, is to find out where that water is coming in. So the rainwater is designed, or should be designed, to go into the storm sewer. And so anytime rainwater goes into your sanitary sewer, then that is treatment costs, that is wear and tear on your pumps, that's capacity for building and adding taps, sewer taps for municipalities. So that's not acceptable for both state and federal regulatory agencies. And so the town is being prudent in trying to find out where these are and look to alleviate these sources. So that's part of this study.
Thank you.
Do you have any records of exfiltration from the sewer system?
You may answer the question.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we don't have any record of any exfiltration. Are you talking about overflows? No, we have not seen any overflows. That's not to say that cities are required to turn in sanitary sewer overflows as they occur to TDEC. So I'm sure that the town turns those in with their monthly reports if there are any.
John, you can speak to that, can't you?
Well, the only time we have like power outages, we've got 2 or 3 lift stations on the generator, but we do report. We have to report.
Yep.
So, but it's been because of the power?
Got no trouble with the plant.
I know there was a question about water as well. So we're talking about the preparation of water in the system. Do either one of y'all want to speak to that? John or Travis?
To potable water?
Yes.
John and I have talked about that. We have not performed any specific study on the volume of water here in Monteagle, but we have discussed that there's a 6-inch main that services the part of town out near the ball fields, which is just on the back of the napkin, should be sufficient to serve what residents are there in the commercial establishments that are there. You have water storage tanks that look to be optimally sized. So again, I've not done any specific or analysis of the water supply here, but just in general, based on my experience, I don't see any specific issues without diving in deeper on a specific area on water volume and pressures. Unless you have any other comments about that, John? No. So.
Any other questions for Travis? Sam, do you want to read that letter from Ronald that we received?
I have a letter here to the mayor from Zach Johnson, who is the Assistant Regional Traffic Engineer at TDOT Region 2 in Chattanooga, relating to a request for access for the truck stop project onto State Route 2. Pertinent part of the letter says any access onto SR2 requires a permit from TDOT. I will gladly continue to work with you as well as the Petro engineers and representatives to make sure we all have a plan that satisfies TDOT criteria for the access. After a site plan and traffic impact study are agreed upon by the owner, the town of Monteagle, and TDOT, we can proceed with the issuance of the highway entrance permit. We will require a surety bond, proof of liability insurance, and a copy of the recorded deed from the owner showing ownership of the property.
Now, Council, we have the first reading of ordinance 05-21, an ordinance to amend the zoning map for the town of Monteagle, Tennessee, rezoning a portion of the parcel 002.07 Marion County Tax Map 022K, Group C, from R3 High Density Residential to District to C3 Interchange Commercial District.
Can I make a comment on this?
Yep.
I just want everybody to know all your letters, your emails, they have been read. I know that you think they haven't, but they have. I've got a petition from you guys. It's got 218 signatures on it. A lot of them are not written out, but they are. It's a petition. We got a petition turned in today from this weekend that's got 168 signatures for the Petro. And I just want people out there to understand this is not an easy decision for anybody up here, okay? A lot of us have been on the fence. We don't know whether to do it, whether not to do it. We want to keep the neighbors happy, but we also want to keep the revenue coming in because we need roads that need to be paved. We've got infrastructure we've got to pay for. And right now, this is looking really good, okay? But I just want everybody to know this has not been an easy decision on anybody up here, okay? So with that being said, I'm going to make a motion to rezone from R3 to C3.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, roll call vote.
Can others of us make comments first?
Yes. Go right ahead.
So, this was certainly not why I ran for alderman, was to get caught in the middle of this. I will say that I echo Hal Adams' comments from earlier today that I believe in the future of the plateau, and I am here because of its natural beauty and because of the potential that I see for this community and all the communities on the plateau. Those of you who know me know that I've fought for years and, for the Mountain Goat Trail and for public spaces. I've worked with the state parks. I find that all to be incredibly important. And as I've reviewed this issue, I have come to believe that this truck stop is not about that. There are some really specific issues involved in this parcel that we have been struggling with. But I don't, in my mind, see that it is in conflict to have a Petro Travel Center at an exit where we want people to exit, where we want people to come to our state parks, where we want people to be a part of our local restaurants and our local economy. To have something else at the interstate exit that encourages them to exit is not a bad thing. And particularly if we are doing our job, then we can leverage those cars that might come from this new travel center and help support our local businesses downtown and help develop and see the Monteagle that so many of you have spoken passionately about in your letters and in your emails. I think we can make that happen. So with that said, there are some real concerns that the neighbors have brought up. And as I have said to the neighbors and as I've said to developers, I don't want to think about this in terms of impacts to specific people, because we know that there are impacts, and we've talked with the Bests and we've talked with the Furings and with the Rollins, and we know but personalities can muddle the decision-making process. And so throughout this whole thing, I've been trying to imagine if it were me that lived next to this property. And I've been struggling with that for literally since we came into office, because we've been dealing with this whole time. And I have spent a lot of time reviewing the site plan. I have spent a lot of time talking to the neighbors and emailing with many of you. I've spent a lot of time talking with Rodney and Brian as well to try to figure out how do we thread this needle. And those of you who were at the meeting last month know that I was prepared to vote in favor of it last month because I felt like we had some new developments and some new revisions to the site plan that I was very proud of that made me think, okay, I could live next to this. We can thread this needle and make this work for everybody. The council, I think rightly, and I in the end voted to join them, to delayed it so that we could get some more information from Travis and others. We've gotten that information from TDOT and Travis, from several folks we were talking with earlier before the meeting started. We've got that information. And so then I got to think about, okay, well, what happens if we don't do this? Many people have spoken passionately, I'm looking at the Moons right now, about their interactions with Rodney and Rocky Top and how those conflicts have gone. And I've spent a lot of time talking with Sandy and Ron about it, spent a lot of time thinking about what it would be if I lived there. And if we don't approve this, what does that mean for those interactions? What does it mean for those folks going forward? What does it mean for the people who live in this area now? This site has already been cleared. Now, that is not to say that anybody in Monteagle should be clearing the site because in the end it'll get approved. That is to say, we are dealing with a situation now that came from a combination of things that we didn't anticipate. The former council didn't anticipate it, we didn't anticipate it, certainly the developers didn't anticipate it, and the neighbors didn't anticipate it. But how do we fix this? And so I've been working pretty hard at it, and I feel really proud of what we have come to, the agreements that we've come to, the way the site plan is going to be revised. And so on the 5th, you're going to see a site plan that I hope that we can be proud of, with some addendums and some amendments that talk about some of the specific problems that have been brought up to me that I think about if I were to live next to it. So how do I deal with light pollution? We're going to have one of the most progressive lighting settings in the state of Tennessee. Nashville is in the process of adopting the same lighting that we might be able to get with this truck stop. How do we deal with the noise and with the sound? RBT has been very gracious to work with the Planning Commission on an addendum to get that wall higher and to make sure that we're protecting the neighbors, that we get that additional landscaping we've been talking about. That'll come up at the meeting, I hope. And so I find myself in the same place I was last month, saying that I'm willing to vote in favor of this rezoning based on the conversations that I've had with RBT that will bear themselves out at the Planning Commission meeting, I hope, on the 5th. And I would encourage you all to come to that meeting on the 5th and look at what we've been working on and look at how we've tried to thread this needle. Now, I am trusting them to do that. We have 2 readings on this rezoning ordinance, so I get to hold some cards. But I feel like we've been negotiating in good faith. They've heard the concerns of the community, and so I'm prepared to support this tonight. And it's not an easy decision, as Doreen said, but I feel like in the end, It's gonna do the best that we can to solve the existing issues, to bring a development to the town that we can really be proud of. And I am proud to have been working on it. And I hope that we can all continue as a community to work toward a better Monteagle future. And if this is approved and if this is built, I just want to encourage y'all to stay involved and help us figure out how to make Monteagle into the town that we all want it to be, because I think there's lots of opportunity.
Jessica?
Well, I agree with everything that's been said, and I also had some concerns about if the truck stop doesn't happen, what happens in the future for economic development here? Who would come to Monteagle if they're going to spend a lot of money and then be sued and their development's not gonna happen? I don't know what kind of economic initiatives we'd ever be able to attract to our area, not in our lifetimes.
Well, I'm going to say this because if you look in the floor there, if you look around the wall, that was my plan. I spent 10 years working on that. A lot of you were not here then. And I know what went into that. Nate, we put boots in the ground on the Mountain Goat. People didn't want to spend the money. The town's money went in. Rusty was on the council then. Alvin was on the council. So we had a growth plan and that got abandoned. And then we inherited this problem. So we've got to fix this problem and move back to a plan. So it isn't an easy decision. And a lot of statements have been made to me personally, to my husband, to my family. But you know what? I'm the mayor. I can take it. But you know what? Being the mayor doesn't also give people that right to do that. Because we're people too. My daughter comes in a while ago because she sees somebody walk up here and starts attacking her mom. You know what? We're people just like you are. I do care about this town. I've spent 10 years of my life. And when we left here, we had $1.29 million in capital improvement funds. It's down to $400,000. If you want to see all this, there's records to show exactly what happened to the money. So somebody took that plan and they abandoned it. And now we're sitting here with an attorney today to protect this town, to protect every one of you in the future. So none of us like the decisions that are being made, but there's facts to versus fiction. There's reality, and that's what we're having to deal with. And we do love Monteagle, and this is our home, and a lot of us have been here for many years. And our grandparents were too, part of the Highlander School. So you know we've been here for a long time. So we have to learn to work together and get back on a plan. But we do have to move forward. So council, I need a roll call vote. Nate?
Yes.
Jessica?
Yes.
Alvin?
Yes.
Doreen?
Yes.
Yes. 5-0. That's the first reading. Now, where's the second one? This will be the second reading on ordinance 0621 for the Phelps property. Okay. An ordinance to amend the zoning map for the town of Monteagle, Tennessee to rezone the partial 030.1 Grundy County tax map 107 from R1 low density residential to district to C2 highway commercial district.
I'll make it motion.
Do we have a second?
Yes.
This is the Coaston property where we know there's already commercial building. Any discussion? Roll call vote. Nate?
Yes.
Jessica?
Yes.
Alvin?
Yes.
Doreen?
Yes.
Myself, yes. 5-0. Alright. You got the other one. Alright. The second reading on the ordinance of 07-21 election. The ordinance to change the town of Monteagle's tenure of office to staggering terms of 4-year terms, 07-21. That'd be going from the 2-year term to the next election cycle would be a staggering term of 4 years. Do we have a motion?
I make the motion.
Do we have a second?
Yes.
Any discussion? Roll call vote. Nate?
Yes.
Jessica?
Yes.
Alvin?
Yes.
Doreen?
Yes.
Myself, yes. Okay. All right, we have a budget amendment here. You may have some questions concerning that. This is now through the end of the year. There are questions Deb can answer because we went through it today. If anyone has any questions. Jack, do we still have an officer that's in, DC?
No, he's not in this anymore, he is deployed.
He is deployed? Okay, because we're actually having to pay overtime right now, aren't we? Because of-
Right.
That's the reason there's an increase in the police department with their budget amendment. Okay. So this is the ordinance of 0821, the budget ordinance amendment, amending the budget for the town of Monteagle for the fiscal year 2020 to 2021. And this will go through June the 30th, 2021.
I just had a question about the supplies that went up.
Which supplies are there?
It's down near the bottom of the first page.
Now, I know we did one with the, library, if we put that under your supply budget, didn't we, when we paid for Karen's copy? Because we told her we'd pay for that. So, is there any other? Alright, so we have. Do you have a motion, 08-21?
I make a motion to pass 0821.
Yes. Do we have a second? Any discussion? Roll call vote. Nate?
Yes.
Jessica?
Yes.
Alvin?
Yes.
Doreen?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Then, next on here is Sparkle Week, which is scheduled for the second week in May. We will have details coming out about that. That's where the, John, you can explain that probably, where the employees come out and,
Well, the people's got trash or junk or whatever, then the employees, they'll come by and pick it up, but they just come by one time.
but now they don't get tires and they don't get building supplies, right?
Batteries.
No batteries. No, but that'll be coming out ahead of time.
No building materials either?
No, they said no building materials is what Butler said. That it's just like, I guess, broken furniture and different things that they have to cleaning out.
Right.
So, and then, the last thing on here, we had of course, I mentioned it to Garen, he's not here tonight, but we had talked about developing our fire department more. And as we all know, our fire department needs some development. Well, a lot of you folks know David Green from Swanee. And we've spoke with David on several occasions, and he's willing to come up and work with our fire department. I think he said 40 years experience building fire departments. He can do command sections, he's trained, he's certified. He said he'd help with recruitment, he'd help get our fire department into shape and bring down the ISO ratings. And he would willingly come to help us on a consultative basis. And what we had discussed was paying him $5,000 per year, starting out. And of course, we'll have to work out whether if he wants taxes paid out on that or not. But we did receive $7,500 today from Grundy County, which would offset that cost. And another thing I found out, we're not billing for house fires and we're not billing for interstate fires. And so David can help with that. There's a company called Brinkley that can help do the billing that we can actually receive funds for. We used to utilize them. I don't know what happened, but they'll also deal with it.
I thought they said we were billing.
Not in a while. That's what, and then what they said. We're also not getting a mutual aid, which we didn't meet with the county mayors about that today. But then David would help us get some things in order if we're willing to bring David on board, at least, train for 6 months. And he said he would be willing to come on board to work with our guys and help get us trained and get us into a number one fire department. So.
Do we have a job description for it?
Well, that's something we said would work out, did with Greg. Greg did meet with me. Did Greg Malik leave? Greg?
Great second.
When David was gonna give me a job description, and I don't think he got it yet, the day Greg did meet with me, to meet with David. And, so we will have that, but he did have a whole host of lists. I can get that from him tomorrow, but if we wanna bring him on board by the 1st of April.
I'm a fan of doing it. I wanna have a job description so that when it comes to a performance review at the end of 6 months, we have some specific objectives pointed each one about how we've met them.
Greg, since you went with me to the meeting, would you like to help with that job description? Because I know you've been involved.
But I will say this, and I don't know Tennessee law or employment law, but if he's a contractor, that might be one piece of paper. If he's an employee, it might be another piece of paper. And I don't know that, but to find out.
I mean, basically, he's gonna be a consultant, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's gonna work as a consultant, is what he's putting in.
Contract.
Right.
Or
Starting out for
independent contract.
for the first 6 months, and then we can go from there based upon, because I mean, if you want to, you're welcome to come up and talk to the council, because you met with me and you highly recommended him on his skills and what he was doing. He's,
You might also check with MTS and see if they have something that might fit that.
I think we did, we did get some things from MTS.
Well, I can't do any more than urge, this concept of, bringing David on board. I've known him from day 2 that I've been on the mountain, so that's about 29 years ago. I know his ability to do mutual aid, to train, to get grants, to buy equipment, to do just about every aspect, of the fire business. And he knows that. He's been at Swanee close to 50 years, certainly 40 plus years, with no complaints, and just the thanks of the neighboring communities as the Swanee Fire Department has stepped up to help neighbors in the mutual aid concept. So I would urge the mayor and council to absolutely bring him on board. I don't think you'll find anyone around in the state with as much knowledge and people to call as David Green. Thank you.
Rick, if you don't mind, will you be available to meet with David again, and we can get his job description, since you've worked on this too with the fire department? If you would help me do that,
Yes.
and we can have that by the end of the week if we wanna bring him on board. I haven't got the email yet, but I've been out of pocket for about a week too, so.
Excuse me, is that the end of this week is the due date?
Yeah, can we do
Okay.
that?
Yes.
Yeah, so if the council's agreeable with it, do we have a, motion to bring David Green on board as our consultant for the Monteagle Fire Department? Okay, do we have a second? Any discussion? Roll call vote. Nate?
Yes.
Jessica?
Yes.
Alvin?
Yes.
Doreen?
Yes.
Myself, yes. Okay, then, Alderman, do y'all have anything? Nate? Jessica?
Well, I'd just like to say that, the council has kind of taken over running the concession stand at the baseball field this year. And, I will put a schedule of the dates where we might need some help, if any of you would like to come out and be a part of serving up some refreshments. Mostly on Tuesday and Thursday nights, but there are also some Monday and Friday nights too. It's kind of fun to be out there with kids. I'll put that schedule out, and you can get in touch with me if you'd like to help work it. You're not gonna do any cooking, it's all prepackaged things where you Cokes, bottled water, candy bars, popcorn, that sort of thing.
Just go for it.
Okay, also, the city is going to purchase a piece of property right next to the city garage. I'm not sure how big the property is, John.
John, he printed it out. and I
It's
think we're
small,
going to-
it's, what I measured on property was 176 foot long and 33 feet wide. That may be.
Right. Okay, it's not really big enough to put an apartment on, but, we're gonna use it as parking and.
Right, we're gonna eventually fill it in, if we get it, eventually fill it in, and we may build a camping.
Is this where that house is falling in?
Yes.
I looked at that house
She
when I
has-
moved in here.
She has
It
agreed
was
to.
gone then.
Yeah.
She's agreed to sell it to us for $2,500, and we pay any back taxes and any legal that has to be done to it. Back taxes, I think, are $53 for the last 2 years on it.
And the, property value is 4,500.
Yeah, the property value is 4,500 on the, so, that's in the works.
Well, if you want to.
Hopefully this week.
If you want to, we need to make a motion to approve it. If you want to purchase it for $2,500 plus the $53 and what?
Any legal that has to be done on any surveying, anything like that, the city will be responsible for.
That was your motion?
Well, I'll make a motion.
Sam, do
that
you
we
have an
buy the
idea,
property.
since you're an attorney, what it would cost for us to actually do the, a quick claims deed for that? And,
Wouldn't be much, I mean, I don't know
Well, I'm just trying to come up with a.
I think if we budget 3,000 total, not to
Okay.
exceed 3,000, we ought to be good. We have to haggle with Samsung to get the deed a little cheaper.
I don't know that I've ever prepared a deed in Marion County, to tell you the truth, so.
Well, he can't buy a house, so the other half, so he doesn't want to, so.
And like I say, the property tax for 2 years was $53.
So I think that'll cover it.
So if we have a motion not to exceed $3,000 to purchase the piece of property, which is adjacent to ours already, right, John?
Right.
It would just be combining the lots
Right,
together,
going-
so,
Makes more parking.
is that a motion, Nate?
I'll make a motion to not to exceed $3,000 to acquire property adjacent to the Monteagle garage.
Okay, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? Roll call vote. Nate?
Yes.
Jessica?
Yes.
Alan?
Yes.
Doreen?
Yes.
Myself, yes. Okay, then, Alan, do you have anything? Doreen? Anything else? I don't. Now we have citizens' comments. We'll take, same thing, it'll be 3 minutes. If you wanna come up, just come up to the front, please.
Sometimes I'm not sure why I say things other than to just get it out on the table. With the upcoming meeting of the planning commission, with the work that you all have done from January or before, I think the project, no matter which way people feel and vote, et cetera, and we've heard it all tonight in previous meetings, there has to be an awful lot of due diligence and attention to detail. If there is a site plan, then everybody should list the site plan, and it should have everything on it that's required by state law. I'm sure you all know that. I just want to say it out loud because you and citizens and everyone else are aware of everyone's feelings. I think one of the ways to allay some of the feelings is that it was done properly from A to Z. That's my thoughts for the day.
Yes.
I just have one more question, and it may be to Mr. Elliott. And you, Mayor. How did whoever come up with the 98 days of non-compliance for RDT, excuse me, for RDT, and how did the fine that, I mean, I don't know for a fact, but it was like $40,000 or something?
The judge found that there were 98 days of violation. And he said, plus whatever happens in the future. And the problem is that a judge can't give a judgment for something that happens he can't assess fines in the future because he doesn't know how far out it'll go. Instead, all we've got is evidence of 98 days that he found when the case was tried, when it was done. And so we took that 98 days and we permutated it and everything, and that's where it came from. It was a finding of 98 days.
Okay, and what judge was that?
It was the city judge. Judge
Mark
Raines.
Raines, it was
Yeah.
Judge Raines, which Judge Raines should, by our next meeting, have a statement too. We've asked him to issue a statement as well,
Okay.
because this was not under our watch either. And so we just tried to address it the right way with our attorney, and he's the one that came up with the numbers. We did not dismiss anything, we did not calculate anything. We used our attorney to do that.
Okay.
I interpreted the judgment and I made a demand that it be paid.
Okay.
Just one quick question. You said there was a petition that had over 100 names of people supporting the truck stop here in Monteagle. Who organized that petition?
I have no idea who organized it. It was just turned in to me. Who organized it, I have no idea. I got it right here.
I mean, are those citizens of Monteagle? Did you check that one like you did the one that we turned in?
It's got Monteagle it's got signatures from Monteagle on here, yes. Have I gone through every one of them? No, I have not, to be honest with you.
Okay. Thank you.
I don't think anybody else in the council has seen that.
We just got it this afternoon.
Yeah, we have not seen it.
RBT didn't organize it, I don't know anything about it, I didn't even know one was turned in, so it didn't come from any of us.
Who turned it in? I mean, you don't know who turned it in?
Yeah, I know who turned it in to me, but who organized it? No, ma'am, I do not.
Well, they probably know.
They probably do.
So do we have any other citizens that want to be heard?
Mary Beth Best, 521 Monteagle Place. You have an updated petition, 284 signatures. Just one that's in your packet. Thank you.
I'd like to get some clarification about the communication with Zach Johnson of TDOT. So at this point, there has not been a TDOT study, is that correct?
Sam?
I believe, it was at the last meeting, there was some discussion of a traffic study that had been done, whether it was to TDOT satisfaction, I don't know.
That's what Zach provided us with.
What this says, ma'am,
Yes, please, thank you.
is after a site plan and traffic impact study are agreed upon by the owner, the town of Monteagle, and TDOT, we can proceed with the issuance of the highway entrance permit.
So TDOT's saying that before that happens, a traffic study needs to be done.
And one's apparently satisfactory to them.
And one that's satisfactory to them.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
My understanding of it is that the developer is responsible for doing the traffic
Yes.
study. They submit it to TDOT.
Yes.
And then TDOT approves it or denies it or approves it with revisions. And that's the moment where we are right now. So the developer has done a transportation study and they have submitted it to TDOT, and TDOT and the developer are in conversation about that traffic study and about the site plan.
Do you know the date of that?
We're up to speed tonight.
What date is on that letter when Zach did that?
March 26th, so the letter is.
Okay, so when did he do it?
So they didn't tell us that. They didn't
When
go
did the
into-
traffic study
He
done?
did not provide us with the traffic study. He just said he had a traffic study.
It's the traffic study we spoke about at the special meeting on March the 15th.
Oh, I know, but do you know what day he did that traffic study?
It was in February.
It was
February 19th.
It was February 19th on a Friday during one of the worst winter storms that we've had here for a long time. So how accurate could that traffic study be?
I am not a traffic engineer. TDOT hires qualified traffic engineers that are reviewing that study and will give us their interpretation of that traffic study. I don't know enough to be able to make any interpretation.
Well, they need to be informed of when that was given, and also COVID, snowstorm, and that's the day he did a traffic study.
I am confident that they will take all that into consideration. The traffic engineer I have known for many years and has been very confident in helping us get safely the Mount Cook Trail across the highways in multiple times. That's all I know.
Make sure he knows what day was up.
Well, and also the traffic study only involved exit 135. I don't see how a traffic study can be considered comprehensive when it does not take into consideration exit 134 that's only a few miles away.
If it's not, TDOT will tell us.
Yes.
We look forward to that.
Yep, that's correct, Sam. Monteagle ain't even big enough for a traffic study. TDOT asked us why we ain't doing it. It ain't even big enough for a traffic study. So we done that to her and get this heist and be ahead of the ball game. It ain't even big enough for a traffic study, guys. The ordinance says you don't have to, nothing in the ordinance says you have to have a traffic study. We spent $20-something thousand for a traffic study to help y'all, and we didn't even have to have one. So they in a discussion on the board tonight.
200 trucks.
All right, is there any other citizens that want to be heard? If they do, come up front, please.
Mary Clark again. Marilyn, I was moved when you talked about the feeling of being bullied. That, I don't know if you use that word over this, but comments that you've heard. I'm sorry, I know what that feels like. And I think many of you may not like you all, you're right, we can't control what other people do, but as leaders, I hope you will stand up against that, and I appreciate those of you who have remained silent when maybe you wanted to say something. I've had so many comments from people I know saying, I didn't know Monteagle hated us so much. Not just assembly members, people from Cliff Tops have said this to me. I didn't know that they didn't like us around, or they thought if we just own a house and we're here part-time. I didn't know what they really felt about us. That's inexcusable. And I truly hope that as leaders, you all will stand against that. It's okay for us to question, to ask questions about this project. That is what we all need to do as citizens. And for us to be demeaned from that is just ridiculous.
And personal attacks, we did not go hack anyone, but personal attacks on me, my family, my husband.
We've all had it. Yeah.
And I mean, it's in print too, but being the mayor, you take part of it, but it doesn't make it right, because it started in July 10th, and then continued.
Well, frankly, I wasn't even aware of.
Oh yeah, I mean, you're aware of a lot of them because you've seen those. So, and it's just to where we hire grant writers where we haven't, to where we've spent money and we've increased rates, which we haven't. So all this stuff's just incorrect. But you know what, the facts.
They weren't statements, they were questions. They've been asked to you.
And they were not asked to me. Well, we have not hired any grant writers. We have not increased any rates.
Answer the question. What's CJ?
Do what?
What's Travis doing?
Travis, he's our engineer.
Right, is he gonna go right for asking for a grant who finds the capacity to be lacking?
Will you help us submit a grant, Travis? You maybe need to help here. I know you're the engineer. I've never considered you a grant writer.
Yes, I've helped towns submit grants when it's needed. I don't see anything wrong with towns trying to procure funds to upgrade infrastructure that's needed. So absolutely, I have done that. I can do that. I will do that if I'm asked.
And we will continue to do that. We did that with our previous administration. We had $285,000, which would have finished sidewalks and lighting, and it was given back, and we wouldn't even be having this discussion. So, but to hire grant writers to go out and find funding for projects, no, we look for the entire infrastructure on the town of Monteagle. But we have to have an engineer that's qualified to look at this, not just an engineer. I mean, I have 3 engineers in my family, and they're not qualified to do some of this work, but Travis is.
I'm gonna make a recommendation that everybody stay off Facebook.
Well, that would be your recommendation.
I'll second that.
It's okay to do.
I swore it off.
To have respectful debate, that is at the heart of this country.
I
It
agree.
is the bullying, the name calling, constantly, that has got to end, because it has hurt this community more than you know. There are people who do not tell you. There are people who are afraid to speak up because they're afraid they're going to be bullied, because they're afraid if they have something they want passed in the future, you'll come against them. That has absolutely got to end. Leaders are the ones who can stop that.
And it's for both sides, it needs to stop, because it's not gonna fix anything.
Well, I would agree with you. I would agree with you on that, but I'm not dissing respectful disagreement.
No, and I'm not.
People have been asked, where are they from? Do you really live here? We're not going back to the time where only property owners can vote. I think we need to all agree that we love this town.
So I think this is the forum, and this is the format. And so you have to ask yourself, if the problem is what's happening on the medium, or is it the medium itself? And y'all know I'm not on Facebook. It's the medium itself. It is not set up for civic discourse. It is not set up to help make good decisions. It's set up to make people click. And so if you want to be involved, and I'll say it again, I encourage you all to remain a part of what we're doing. Help us move Monteagle forward. This is the format. And so coming to meetings and this, I feel like we've had very civil debate tonight and at the meeting on the 15th. And every time we've met, And even in our Zoom, as crazy as the
And
Zoom thing
I
was.
think, Nate, you're probably not aware of some of it.
But
I've
let me
heard
clarify
plenty,
something.
I've heard plenty.
Let me clarify something here. We did get a letter from the assembly, and it was sent from the board, and it was sent from Scott, that says, we are taking a neutral position.
Absolutely.
We are not taking a position, so if anyone's speaking out of the assembly, they are not speaking on the behalf of the assembly.
Absolutely.
So, because Scott and I have been talking since I was reelected, and we plan on having committees to look at our zoning, to look at to set our plan back into place, which was Monteagle 2020, and Scott said he wanted to be involved with it. Scott was involved before.
Wonderful. And I think all assembly members certainly support that.
And I'm just saying, so Scott and I have been talking for months now. It just didn't start whenever I came back in office. He worked with us on part of this whenever we did it before.
The assembly has a body has taken a neutral stand officially. That doesn't always, that doesn't apply to individuals.
Well, no, that's what, but I'm clarifying for the assembly's sake. It's not the assembly against the town. That's
well,
not,
I hope
it's
not,
not.
but it has been felt to be that
But
way.
it's not.
Oh,
It's
I
just,
agree.
listen, you should be
I
in
agree.
our shoes. So,
Well,
I mean-
I agree with you. It's not about them, it shouldn't be. We need to all agree that we're here, we're care enough to put our 2 cents in, and that should be welcomed and applauded.
Let me just say, we've been, it's gone both ways. We've been called morons, idiots, trolls. I've been told that, they're ashamed that I'm even on the council, and I may not have a full load, I don't know. But, it goes both ways. The thing of it is, this has tore this community apart, and it's up to us to put it back together. And if you want to get on Facebook and you want to bash so-and-so, or you want to talk about it's just going to keep going. The only thing I recommend is shut up about it. Don't get on Facebook. It's the root of all evil. Do not get on Facebook. It's real simple. I mean, it's not, I'm sitting here saying I don't have a full load and I've got enough sense to stay off Facebook. I'm urging you to do the same. It's real simple.
You get off after you sign up to be a helper in the concession stand.
Yes. Actually, we worked it Friday night, Thursday night, and we had a good time. I urge you to come out. It's good. It's a good thing. Again, stay off of Facebook.
But it's 7:28. I think most people, is there anyone that hasn't spoken that wants to speak? If not, do we have a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Do we have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?